Today we're going to do a side-by-side comparison of the Northshore Megamax adult diaper versus the Confidry 24/7 adult diaper. We're going to go about this review by measuring a number of different factors. To start with, we're going to get the dry weight of each product. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Let's go ahead and see how much the Megamax weighs dry. I'm going to weigh both of these separately. The first one, we got 7.5 ounces on that one. Then the Megamax with the booster pad is 9.9 ounces. And we have the Confidry, 7.4 ounces. And with the booster pad, 9.6. So I'm gonna be measuring the diaper's performance in two main factors. So the first one obviously is in weight. So how much weight does it end up absorbing by the time I need to take it off? And then the other thing is how much time will it last for before I actually feel like I need to change. Now we're gonna try and test the crinkle factor, or the noisiness factor of the Confidry 24/7 with the booster pad. I was trying to think of a way to approach this in a more scientific way so we can take some measurements and get some data. The only thing I can think of is a decibel meter. So I got a little decibel meter on my phone. But in way of what sort of results it's going to give us, I'm a little skeptical on that. It's just the subjective feeling of the audible sound of the crinkle can be louder to us personally than it actually is in reality. So I wanted to take some hard measurements for us. Let's go ahead and take a baseline. So with just the average ambient noise of the room, it's around 48 to 50 decibels with the noise in the room from outside of the room as well. Before I did this, I did have my roommate come in here and walk around with it to do a baseline test to see what it's like when somebody who doesn't need these products walks around, what sort of measurement it takes, and for him, it was measuring around room level at about 50 decibels. So now let's go ahead and take a look and see if you can hear anything on the mic and also what measurements I get while walking. So to do that, I'm going to have to grab the camera here. Okay, that's just me walking regularly. Obviously now that I'm talking, it's going to jump up, but you can see it's around 52 to 54 decibels. So you can see that it's a little bit louder than what a baseline measurement would be for somebody who doesn't wear, but 2 to 3 decibels is not really so audible to the human ear. Usually it takes about 3 decibels to be perceptibly audible for somebody to notice. And then on top of that, with any background noise you got going around in an environment, that's just going to drown out any kind of crinkle sound that there might be that you might be self-conscious about. So that's a good measurement for this particular product. It should be interesting to see what sort of measurement we get on that for the Megamax. Next is the discretion factor. Let's take a look at a few different outfits. Alright, so this is what I'm wearing today around the house, just this light t-shirt, light pair of shorts. So in a pair of shorts like this, it's going to be a little bit more audible than in something like jeans. But in way of visibility, I'm perfectly comfortable wearing something like this out. Doesn't bother me that much. But I don't know if it's visible or not. You tell me, put it in the comments below. Do you think it's visible in this particular set of clothes? So obviously the Confidry 24/7 without a booster pad is going to be a little bit thinner, a little bit more discreet. With a little bit less stuffing in it, it may actually end up being more audible. The next thing we need to talk about when it comes to the Confidry diaper are the tapes. So it has these double tapes on it, as you can see here. Most diapers have these days, which is really great because if you just suffer from urinary incontinence, you don't have bowel incontinence, and you need to go to the bathroom, when you have this double tape, it's useful for untaping down one side. So you can use the bathroom, and then when you're done, you can tape, slide it back up and tape it up. They do work really well about 95% of the time. Sometimes I'll get a batch where one of the tapes isn't sticking properly, or maybe it's just a few particular diapers in a batch where a particular tape isn't sticking properly. That's pretty rare most of the time, but it does happen sometimes. It's always useful to have a roll of masking tape nearby in case you have a product that does something like that. Then there's the leg guards. These actually do a very good job at preventing leaks from going out of the diaper. If you do wear it with a booster pad, especially a thicker, bigger booster pad, you need to be careful to run your fingers along the inside of the leg hole to make sure that leg guard is standing up and ready to block any leaks that might potentially happen. Now, when we compare that to the Megamax, I know from previous experience with the Megamax Diaper that this plastic landing zone is really great for unfastening and refastening the tape. So unlike with the Confidry diaper, you could potentially just rip the tape actually off of this. And in fact, these particular tapes don't have the double tape, but it is very easy to refasten them. So that's the one perk to these tapes. They're very strong. You can refasten them multiple times and they'll still hold without any issues of popping off. I don't think I've ever had an issue with a tape popping off of this particular product. And then the leg guards in this product are about the same as the Confidry. They do a really great job at preventing leaks. That's specifically if you're wearing the right size. You gotta be careful with the Megamax adult diaper because it does run a little bit larger than most other diapers. When I normally wear a medium in most diapers, but if I get a medium in this, which is what this particular product is, it sags a little bit, which can potentially lead to leaking. At this point, I've been testing the Confidry with a booster pad for about 8 hours. I put this product on this morning at about 7 a.m. It's currently about 3 p.m. and I just started to spring a little bit of a leak. I'm gonna do a little bit of walk so you can see if it's noticeable when it's fully swollen. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. I don't have a whole lot of space to walk around in here, but I personally feel like it's okay. I feel like you would really only notice that if you were like us and you know what to look for, or you have a massive leak. But even on shorts like this, as I said in one of the last videos, darker clothes hide leaks pretty well. So as you can see from that shot, you can't even really tell there's a small, tiny little bit of a leak. Now in the mornings, I do tend to drink a lot more. I usually drink a lot of coffee throughout the day. Coffee and water is primarily what I drink most of the time. So that leads to needing a lot of changes depending on the product you are wearing. With this kind of product combination, I can go up to 8 hours. And probably longer than that if I'm not consuming so many different fluids. That's another reason why it's important to go with the weight test and the time test. I like to average both so I can kind of know what to expect from each product. But the weight test is a lot more firm of a thing. Obviously, a diaper can only hold so much fluid before it begins to leak. So the weight test when it begins to leak is probably one of the better ways to measure it across the board. I'm gonna go ahead and get changed out of this thing. I'm gonna weigh it and then I'll report back to you guys to let you know what the capacity is right now. I'm just now reaching the 8-hour mark and I don't really want to push it any longer than that. Here we are. It's actually been a few days since I did that last take, and the results of the Confidry with the booster pad when it was fully saturated and I needed to take it off because I was going to get a rash if I didn't. That particular Confidry diaper combination was roughly 10 ounces before I put it on, and then when I took off it weighed 2 pounds 13 ounces. My goal with these tests is to push the product as long as I can until either it's about to leak or I might be about to start getting a rash. So those are two things that we obviously want to avoid, especially getting a rash, because once you get one, they're really hard to get rid of. So now I'm wearing the Northshore Megamax adult diaper with a Live Anew booster pad. And I did want to actually say this particular diaper is in a size medium. It doesn't quite fit me as snugly as a size small in the Northshore Megamax does, so it does put the product test at a slight disadvantage in comparison to the Confidry medium that I normally wear. So if you're roughly size 32 to 34, I fluctuate between a 32 and 34. And the medium diapers, when they get wet, tend to sag a little bit, which can give it just enough space to leak in the leg openings. And that's something you really want to try to avoid if you're trying to avoid leaks, which of course, we're all trying to avoid leaks. That's why we're doing this, right? Oh, another thing I almost forgot to mention was the Confidry diaper that I tested before. It lasts for about 7, almost 8 hours, but I did drink a lot of fluids that morning. So the reason I'm doing the Megamax now during the morning, I tend to drink a lot of coffee and water in the morning, so I wanted to make the test a little bit more fair and even. One test that I did on the Megamax with the booster pad, it was yesterday or the day before. I wore the product for about 9 hours. It was 9.8 ounces for the dry weight, 3 pounds 6 ounces for the wet weight. So that, as you can see, that one is already coming out ahead of the Confidry. So let's go and take a look and see if it's visibly noticeable. So now I'm just going to walk around so you can take a look and see whether or not the product is visibly noticeable. So what do you think? Is it visibly noticeable? Can you tell that I'm wearing this product? If you can, let me know in the comments down below. If you can't, let me know in the comments down below, whichever one. Okay, so the next test we're gonna do is the audible decibel level. So I'm gonna use the decibel meter again to see what the difference is between the ambient noise in the room and how it sounds when I'm walking. That said, I did get some input from my roommate that it is quite audible, the crinkle that that I make when I walk around, but it's most likely because I wear very loose-fitting clothing when I'm around the house. So if you do wear something more constrictive, more tight-fitting, it will help muffle the sound a bit if that is something you're concerned about. Let's go ahead and get these numbers and see if there's any difference between the Megamax reading and the Confidry reading. As you can see, the ambient noise in the room is fluctuating between 48 and 52. So now I'm going to start walking around. Looks like the audible reading of the decibel meter is about the same as the Confidry. So when we took the reading for the Confidry compared to the Megamax, they're roughly about the same level of output when it comes to the measurable audible noise that they make when I'm walking wearing loose-fitting clothing. Let's do one final comparison of all of the different facts that we've gathered and see if one of these products pulls ahead of the other or if they're more evenly matched. To start with, the very first Confidry diaper that I tested, it was a Confidry with a Live Anew booster pad. The weight came out to 10 ounces dry and 2 pounds 13 ounces wet. That particular diaper I wore for about 7 or 8 hours. The second test I did on a Confidry, the dry weight was 9.8 ounces with the booster pad of course, and the wet weight was 3 pounds 6 ounces. That particular diaper I wore for about 9 hours. The first Megamax I tested with the booster pad came out to a dry weight of 9.7 ounces and a wet weight of 2 pounds 9.9 ounces. That particular diaper I wore for about 10 hours. The second test I did on the Megamax with the booster pad, the dry weight came out to 9.8 ounces and the wet weight came out to 2 pounds 12 ounces. We did the visual comparison earlier. Let me go ahead and stream a couple of those clips together right now so we can kind of compare them side by side and see if either one of these products is more visually noticeable than the other. Personally, I think they're about the same level. If you think there is any difference, let me know in the comments below. We did discuss the leg guards earlier on each of these products. After using them for the past few days, back to back together, I do feel like the Megamax leg guards are actually slightly better than the Confidry leg guard. They actually do a better job, especially if you're using booster pads. When it comes to the tapes on each of these products, we did discuss the differences between them before. The Megamax definitely pulls in the lead on the tapes for their strength of adhesion and their refastenability. Both of these products do a good job at neutralizing the smell of urine, so that's not something typically I worry about myself, and I do have it on good note that it's not something people typically can smell coming off me either. The last thing we need to discuss is the price per diaper. So when I do break down these prices, I'm breaking it down by the case, as when you buy it by the case, they are a little bit cheaper. So if you do need to wear these products every day or maybe even every night, it definitely is cheaper to buy. For the Megamax adult diapers, they break down anywhere from $232 to $247 per diaper depending on the size that you get. They do slightly increase in price when you go up in size. The Confidry diaper, however, is about $1.63 per diaper for the small and medium sizes, and then the large size runs about $1.65 per diaper. So overall, the Confidry diaper itself is a lot better, but keep in mind I am also using the Live Anew booster pads. I didn't actually factor those into this math. That'd be something for a different video. I do use them with my products though, so I do want you to know that I'm using them, and these products will perform slightly differently when you're not using them. If you need any other tips or advice on wearing adult diapers, check out this playlist that I'm building up right here. Or you can check out this video that YouTube says is perfect for you. Until next time, stay dry.